Religious professionals have developed procedures and even rules about what they can and cannot do when they leave a congregation. What guidance is there for congregants who leave after many years of intense engagement with the community? How do we say goodbye? We've been thinking about this for more than a year since we knew that twins would be joining our family when we first talked about moving. We've been part of this community for 33 years, longer than we've been anywhere. Where do we start? We have so much we want to say. Let's start with gratitude. We are so thankful that we found you all. We got to create and recreate this amazing community together. And we got to create and recreate ourselves as well from all that we learned from you. We don't know how to thank you enough for all that you've done for us and for our family, our 2 children. We didn't have family close by, and you stepped in to help with our children. They learned a lot. Shout out to OWL and our RE programs, and they had a lot of fun. We see the ripples of the love that you gave us in the community as we witness our children continue to spread that love to their own communities. We are so grateful that you are the village that helped raise our children. But isn't that what loving community is supposed to be about? Helping each other and lightening the loads that we all carry.
We love you, all of you, even when we disagree, even when we frustrate one another. This faith, this community has saved my life. Thank you. Now, hearing that sometimes makes some Unitarian Universalists uncomfortable. It's too much like evangelical language. And I hope that is my gift to you, the gift of being uncomfortable. I have spoken here a few times on the wisdom of discomfort. There's a quote attributed to many people in many institutions, newspapers, churches, etc., that goes something like this. The role of the institution, religious community in this case, is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I think that statement is a little too broad and a little too clever to be helpful. But I do think it's important for us to examine those places where we experience discomfort. So many of us come from privileged places, and we are often so comfortable that we miss the need to transform ourselves and the world. So please keep pushing into those areas. It's been a long time since this community offered beloved conversations as an adult education curriculum. Please go there. Ask yourself, what have I done today to challenge the white supremacy culture? Or, what have I done to change the patriarchy? Or, what have I done to end the white, heteronormative, ableist, capitalist patriarchy? Come on, just saying those words every morning is good exercise for your mouth. And recently, Barb and I pushed you into an uncomfortable place when we observed that this community was moving at the speed of capitalism with some of the Phase 2 remodeling money. I hope we planted enough seeds so that you will continue to experience some discomfort and look carefully at what you value as you make decisions.
Boy, we had our share of up and downs in the community these last 33 years, but we kept at it. We've not always been at our best as a community, and I've not always been at my best. There are a couple of times I felt so disappointed about what was happening here that I thought about leaving, but I didn't give up. I didn't have to, because someone here loved me enough to listen to my frustrations, to my heartbreak and my sadness, and also to my love for y'all and the USM mission. You're my community, damn it, and I was not going to give you up. So I stayed, worked things out, and you've been stuck with me. Sorry about that. Until now.
My experience is a little different from Barb. I moved from congregational service to the larger faith. I never really felt like leaving, and I was always involved at some level, whether it was religious exploration or worship associate, even if I had stepped out of a governance role. I remember some uncomfortable conversations about trust and power. And I experienced some of those same feelings today in my denominational-wide role as co-moderator. Both here at USM and now at the UUA, there are and have been people who complain that I have too much power. And my exasperated answer in both cases is, power to do what? I've always been a volunteer. I don't get any money. There's no special gilded pew for me to sit in. So here is another place of discomfort I invite you to examine. What are your triggers around trust? What will get you to a place of trust with your elected board members and the religious professionals you have called?
This time we won't be coming back, at least not in some helpful, get things done sort of way. Sure, we'll continue to love you and support you and return to visit. But we now leave you the responsibility of deeply loving and growing this community. And we can only hope that it holds as much meaning in your lives as it has in ours. We are doing our own transition work, just like USM. We are letting go of things that no longer fit into our lives, just like you may need to do in these next few years. Like a butterfly in its chrysalis, we are transforming with not fully understanding what our lives will be like on the other side of this. It's exciting and it's scary and very busy. We know that remaining open-hearted and open-minded will help us accept the changes, whatever they may be. And we wish the same for you as you continue a new way and find that new way for yourselves. There's a Quaker saying, and we once were practicing Quakers: proceed as the way opens. This is usually associated with a need to get clarity and clearness about the process. There are things we don't know and cannot know. There are many paths. If you are immediately on the right path, if you're not immediately on the right path, take a different one. As you go, you will gain clarity that will inform you about your next choice and the one after that. Trust that the way will open for you.
Oh, the chrysalis is one of my favorite metaphors. And as a quick reminder, when the caterpillar forms a chrysalis, the caterpillar is transformed into a bunch of goo. It doesn't look like a caterpillar, it doesn't look like a butterfly, just goo and slime. Slowly, it assumes the form of the butterfly before emerging from the chrysalis. I don't know if I'm on the path of the butterfly. I know I've already been transformed physically, as you know, as many of you know. I could barely walk a year ago, and now I have 2 new mechanical knees, which gives me freedom and movement I have not had for years. There are lots of good and great congregations in Washington, D.C. area. I'm confident we can find a new spiritual home. And I encourage all of you to do the transformational work with Revs Terry and Kovas as you prepare your own chrysalis. I think the time of goo is upon you.
When you leave, it's not uncommon to think about what you leave behind in the minds and hearts of others, what your legacy will be. So I'm wondering, what will be our legacy in your eyes, and what will be your there are several things that we'll remember about you. We'll remember the joy that we had in this community. You gave us a gift of laughter. We had such fun being here with all of you. Auctions, circle dinners, coffee hour, playing and working with the children, coming of age overnights. Oh, were those crazy sometimes. Watching our young ones grow into remarkable adults. Singing and celebrating together, and so much more. Oh, and the choir. Oh my gosh, my choir family. I had so much fun hanging out with you and just making harmonies with you. It enlivened me. You're the best, and I'm really gonna miss all of this.
You gave us friendship and unconditional love. You lifted us up when we were weak and vulnerable, especially when Barb went through really bad depression and anxiety. You helped take care of our family when we needed extra help. You provided pastoral care when our hearts were heavy. You hung in there when we disagreed about things. Some of you even had the courage to tell us when we hurt you so that we could make amends and do better. You joined us in celebrating the important times in our lives, listened to our deepest sorrows, and helped us in our confusion. You didn't give up on us. We are so deeply grateful for this kind of love, and we'll always remember you for this gift. You challenged us. You gave us new ideas to wrestle with, and gave us the freedom to find our own answers. You shared your lives and stories, which challenged us to be more open-hearted and open-minded. These challenges enabled us to grow in knowledge, compassion, and spirit. You also said it did things that we got confused and angry about. Yep, we'll remember that. But we'll also remember how working through that enabled us to better understand other points of view and ways of being in the world, and how to live with that discomfort. Those too were enriching experiences. May you continue these legacies as you move into the next phase of life at UUSM.
So what will be our legacy at UUSM? Ultimately, it's up to each of you to decide. Right now, you're sitting in the middle of one of the biggest projects I ever worked on, giving 7 years of my life and countless thousands of hours to building and remodeling this space. And it all started when Charles and the Capital Campaign Committee asked you to dream big. They were tasked with raising money to build a bathroom and a ramp. I think that happened. They all agreed, though, that was not a big enough dream. So they made everyone uncomfortable and collected all our dreams and put this process in place. We hope you find this space comfortable and inviting. But as important as this space is, it's just a thing, just an object. This work that we did here, this is the beginning of a dream of how to use this renovated space and how it helps us live into our mission. And equally important for us, we did this for the disability community. I worked professionally with disabled people for many years, journeying with them through their joys and their struggles, and fighting for community services that they needed. I hope you remember us for our commitment to the children and the youth. We played with babies in the nursery. That was great fun. We taught RE across all the age groups, participated in coming of age, facilitated OWL classes, youth worship services, and celebrated their many life milestones. We hope that you remember us for our devotion to Unitarian Universalism here and in the greater movement, and our mission to this community, and our drive to create a welcoming and safe space for all people, including people with disabilities.
A little later in this service, we're going to ask you to focus on gratitude for both love shared and received, for the goodness in the world, for this community, for the joy of ancestors, descendants, and grandchildren. We have been blessed by our time with all of you, for our time with those of you who are here now, for those who have moved to other places, and those who have already joined the ancestors. We have always had great hope for this community. It is a place that saves lives. See, I did that evangelical thing again. The challenge is to open up and welcome those who are not already here. Take a moment. Imagine, what do you need to do to make USM a place that is welcoming and accessible to all who want to be here? Then, go and do those things.